little chewy. It's really good, but it's a little chewy. But we were drunk the whole time, so it was delicious.
There was a couple of times, though. There were a couple of...
I wasn't.
You're a failure.
There were a couple of backstraps I made.
Thanks, Dad.
And cooked them super rare. Like, they were pretty fucking good. Like, but I still think I like whitetail better than elk.
Really?
I don't think so.
I need more experience with elk.
Yeah. That was a pretty
I really
old,
like
gross
pig.
bull, though. Yeah. Man, the last pig I cooked, it was awful. Like the worst piece of meat I've ever had in my mouth. And I don't know if I haven't cooked it since because it was so bad.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
We missed the first part, but we got all that.
Well, welcome to Stormwater Creek Podcast.
We're live at Legal Draft.
It's Sunday.
I feel like it's a
JT
homecoming.
Larkin. Yeah, we haven't been here in a while.
Like a hot minute. And
I
there's
guess-
like a 30th birthday party going on, and there's painting going on. Always stuff going on up here.
But it's so nice. I
It
love
is.
it up here.
They gave us a tablecloth to record on.
Yeah,
We're going to ruin it.
We're going to definitely spill beer and ruin it.
I guess also welcome to the Hook and Arrow podcast. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
going to post this thing up,
Right.
too.
That's
It's
true.
a co-op.
Yeah.
It's collaboration. That's a beer term.
Yeah.
When breweries make beers together, they release them like both names on it. Collaboration.
So we're like
A
Coors
club.
Light and
Yeah,
Miller
I
Lite
think
put together. Huh?
Oh. Yeah, so, dude, this Bach Trial I'm drinking right now is really good.
It is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their beer here it's delicious.
For any
do.
beer nerds,
They
it's a
do.
smash Bach. So it's, I forget what grain, but it's a mosaic hop. So it's single malt, single hop. It's very simplistic, but super delicious.
Yes. Shallow and pedantic.
Thank you. It's good to have you back, Jordan.
Welcome back
We've
to the
missed you
podcast,
this
Jordan.
week.
Jordan's drinking a Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
What are y'all
Always.
drinking?
I'm drinking the same thing Jordan's
I'm
drinking.
drinking
Yeah.
Norba, Texas.
Norba, Texas is really good, too.
Easy
Like, just
drinking
for like a,
yellow beer.
Yeah.
Yellow beer. That's with an A.
Yellow.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, I figured since, we're guests on the Hook and Arrow podcast.
We have the arrow here.
Since we have the arrow here.
I don't really know who the Hook is anymore. I think it's just the Arrow podcast.
just
We're just
the
going to keep
Arrow.
the name.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you don't want to just start all over.
We can contribute with minnow bank fishing for
Yeah.
sand bass being the hook.
I can teach you about the Bullman rig. I can guarantee Lake
Oh,
Fork guy
Jesus.
doesn't know anything about the Bullman rig. Which
That's
is just a knot.
You just
when you get it tangled and
and
you
you just
can't
leave
get
it on there like,
untangled?
man, I'll fish with it.
You think
bad.
like Guggen will pick that up and let me start selling the Bullman rig that's just like a clip-on bait?
It's kind of like when you get the Bings above the Frank and you just keep on going.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens.
Well, I've got Gangle that has been doing podcasts with me, but as much as I've got him hunting now, I don't know if he could be the Hook either. He's
Yeah.
Did you tame him?
man,
Did
I
you
think
take your
so. Yeah. He's been getting into the archery stuff way more than fishing lately, but I think he's about to get him a new boat, and he does the whole guiding thing in the spring and summer. So
That'll put an end to the arrow for a while.
yeah. I know one thing: the arrow side's a lot more expensive,
No doubt. Yeah.
but
Well, it depends on how much you go into the hook side. I mean, like,
I don't
boats
know,
and all
man.
that stuff, you know.
yeah, $100,000 Ranger now. I think they're like 110,
Yeah.
which blows my mind.
Well, I don't know. I don't get it.
They fancy.
But the
They
Leaky
fancy.
Creek works
What-
just fine.
Okay, we'll leave that alone.
We still have a
What-
motor for it.
What's the difference between $40,000 bass boat and a $110,000 bass boat?
Nothing. It's kind of the same thing between an Arctic and a Yeti.
Exactly.
Just the
That's
money
my idea,
and
but I
the
don't
class.
know anything. The name on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the brand
Does it
name.
have sparkles in the paint? Because they like that a lot, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sparkly. I don't mind it, but I've noticed that's a deal. Sparkly boats.
You have to have a sparkly bass boat.
Yeah.
I've never understood bass boats. Like, why do they do carpet? Like, you can't spray that shit out.
No, I don't
Like,
understand.
they just want to be fancy and have carpet. Like,
Yeah.
put some, like, foam pads like they do in, like, the
Kayak.
saltwater world
Yeah, the
and
strips
just
so
be
you can
able to
hose
spray
between
it
them.
out.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. Enough about fishing. We're talking hunting today.
Yeah, we determined that already. That's the plan. I believe it's written down in the book. Talk about
I'll take
hunting.
the same thing.
So, I think that what we should talk about is.
Sorry, there's a beer order going on.
Yeah, sorry, beer order. I got one
Way
before,
more important than
but now I'm thinking I'm probably going to finish this and have to get another one.
People keep walking by. Get that box out that says Stormwater Creek so we just don't look like creepers with headsets on.
What box
even
are
if
you
we
talking
have
about?
the thing
that
that
holds the
Stormwater Creek, it's
recording.
still
Oh,
gonna make us
okay.
look like creepers with headsets on. Just official creepers.
Our podcast is going off the rails. We're in minute 2.
We'll get it out of our system early on. Then we can pay attention.
We'll set the we'll
'Cause I
set the
even
scene a
haven't-
little better here. We are sitting at the very front of Legal Draft with a table. And,
With a tablecloth.
Yeah, Abe already mentioned the tablecloth, and everybody's just kind of looking at us like, what are these guys doing?
There's a 30th birthday party going on
We have delicious
with
looking
dudes
barbecue.
cooking barbecue in black gloves, so you know it's legit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it does smell pretty good over here.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten
Barbecue
yet today.
looks good. Have you listened to my podcast before? Really? I think you're the first person I've ever heard that's actually noticed me from my podcast. Oh, cool.
Wow.
He definitely
See?
hasn't listened to ours.
Yeah, we
He's
never,
like,
we never
"Who's-
have anyone that says that.
Who's your 3 retarded friends?
Oh, God.
Oh.
That's funny.
No, we did.
You can't say retarded.
at Meat Eater.
Guy sitting next to Abe was looking at our Instagram.
He's like,
Wait.
I'm sitting next to you guys. It's kind of cool when that happens.
Yep.
That's funny.
And
Let's talk about Meat Eater for a second. Because
Dude,
we
okay.
all win except for Jordan because he's gay.
Fact.
he works too hard. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He's too committed to his
bad.
career.
So it was actually a really good time. I had
thought it
fun.
was awesome.
I thought it turned out really well.
I thought it was really, really good. Like you said, turned out really well.
Yeah, there
It
was,
was
some
fun.
There was some heckling going on that I kind of could have
Texas
dealt
was a little
without.
bit embarrassing.
Yeah, I was kind
Or
of
Dallas
embarrassed.
was. Let's
yeah.
say Dallas was. I didn't go to Houston, obviously.
Our fellow Texans there in Dallas were not making us look
They
the
were
best.
real rowdy. I mean, I guess I get that, but it's just like,
It's a live podcast. Like,
Well, from what
half shut up. Like, cheer a little bit and whistle when it's necessary, but you don't need to drunkenly chime into everything he says that
Yeah.
you may or may not disagree with.
because you disagree with the use of
And
an
you've had-
Instapot.
7 Budweisers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
$7, $80 Budweisers.
Basically, there was lots of heckling going on, like during the entire podcast. It wasn't like little bits and pieces here or there. It was like
Constant.
constant heckling, like
just rude.
just rude
Brian,
heckling.
Brian Donovan and I both like ended up walking out to go to the restroom at the same time toward the end. And I was like, hey, what's up? He goes, oh, holy shit. And we're in the restroom, and he's like, these motherfuckers in front of me won't shut up. I was like, yeah, I'm in the front row, and all you people behind me won't shut
Yeah.
up.
It was crazy.
That one guy that was like the main heckler, there was definitely
Yeah.
a main heckler.
And that lady, too, who is clearly drunk.
Yeah, I was sitting right next to the lady.
Oh.
Actually, my wife was. She
I
was
about to say,
sitting
holy
right
shit,
next to
hopefully
her.
that wasn't your wife.
No, but then two rows behind us was the main drunken heckler
Oh,
that
God.
sounded really redneck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little annoying.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, it was just like an over-the-top.
Like,
you know,
come on, guys.
Not even like constructive.
We're excited,
heckling.
too, but come on.
But that said, there was a lot of people there.
Yeah,
like I
I
was
was-
very surprised.
Yeah, it was, I mean, looking up, it looked like it was pretty packed. There
Yeah.
was very few empty seats, if any.
Very few, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the number of people, especially since Steve had talked on the podcast about how tickets
Sales
in
weren't
Dallas, weren't selling great.
Maybe
but-
all last minute.
I'm sure
That's how
that was
Dallas
that's
works.
like absolutely
Everything's
a,
last minute.
yeah. Everybody's like, nah. But it's also probably a technique he uses to be like, oh,
Make sure he sells out.
yeah, we still got some tickets left.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it was a good time though. I had fun.
It was really
it was
good.
fun. And seeing so many people we knew, and it
Yeah.
was- I enjoyed it a lot.
A lot of BHA people. We did the meet and greet thing with Steve and everybody, so that was a lot of fun.
Do we want to talk about the question?
Oh my God.
So during the Q&A prior,
The question.
this guy says, start talking about New Mexico drawing. Well, it's like 5-6% go to non-residents. We'll leave it at that. It breaks down further, obviously, for in-state, but
We'll cover that a little more later
yeah,
because that's kind of what
It
we're
gets
talking about
yeah.
today.
But he says, well, since my chances are basically zero of ever drawing there, why do I care about their public land? Like, holy shit, dude. Like, come on. Like,
You could
He
still
just-
go fish there.
well, camp there.
Shed
or
hunt,
backpack, yeah, anything. Turkey hunt. I've turkey hunted over the counter in New Mexico 2 years now.
And of all
That's
the-
100% over the counter. And there's
Yeah.
a shitload of turkeys there. Like, so you don't want to turkey hunt. You only care about New Mexico public land if you draw a bull tag.
Dude, there's so many decent units that you can draw a bull tag, though. Like,
I mean, that's the thing.
It's just, and if it's also like, yeah, you have 6% chance out of all of them, but there's no preference point.
But
So
he
if you
also
try,
posed
you
it-
may draw.
But the way he posed it was, he kind of used New Mexico as the kind of the example.
He was like,
but,
why do I care?
But he was like, why do
I don't
I
have
care
time.
about public land in the West,
And he-
essentially? It's
and
like, you could go hunt elk every single year in Colorado if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Granted, you may not be successful, but by God, you could go elk hunt every year if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And drive
I just thought it was really shitty.
the same distance.
It's also like,
because
dude, why are you at the Meat Eater podcast?
Yeah,
Have you
it's
ever listened to any of Steve's content
like-
or watched the show?
And like, how do you not understand the difference between access and tags? Because they're 100% different
Oh, for sure.
ideas. And Steve danced around it really well. And he kind of said in the beginning, like, you know, this has like lands and drawing tags are two different subjects. Like, you know, we can discuss tag breakdowns and draw odds and state management of wildlife, and we can discuss public lands, and they do overlap, but they're not the same thing.
Absolutely.
And this guy just throwing that out there just really just bothered me. Like you threw out this really hardened opinion of you're so busy at work that you don't care about New Mexico because your chances are so low. Why do you care? None of that's my problem.
Yeah.
I care. So you're not going to help out
Yeah.
ever having a chance because you don't have a chance right now? Nah.
That's
not
pretty
cool.
much the same attitude that like a liberal would take to saying like, well, I don't want guns, so no one should have guns.
Exactly.
It's stupid.
Well, they have armed guards.
Exactly.
But that's neither here nor there.
Let's
don't
let's
understand
be
it.
honest though. That guy that has that opinion probably is not going to work hard enough to go kill a bull anyway.
Oh,
No.
absolutely not. No.
Like
No.
you're worried about your draw odds, but you've already said you don't have time to worry about low draw odds. Like, where's the middle ground, dude?
I
Yeah.
mean, like I
Like,
said,
oh, you want 100% draw rate?
Yeah, we will have
Across the
no
Buy a mule
decent
deer
elk.
tag and go to Lake Meredith. You can
Like-
you have a mule deer tag on your Texas license. Go to Lake Meredith and practice there.
Yeah, it's also like people want.
you can mule deer hunt at Lake Tawakoni.
You're not the one to tell someone to shush about
Look,
what's going
I've made
down.
a solid commitment to everyone around me that I will no longer talk about any places. We will just refer to them as Lake Tawakoni. Every
That's a
place we
general
hunt is
term.
Lake Tawakoni now.
Lake Tawakoni.
Unless you're talking about catfishing, then you should say another lake because Tawakoni's badass for that.
Is it?
Yeah, they catch big catfish at Tawakoni. That's a good catfish lake.
Yeah, but you're not the hook, so you don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So
Sparkly bass boats.
okay, before we get off the Meat Eater thing, I think we should all just acknowledge one more thing. Abe would have for sure sucked Steve off that night.
Like
The-
two-handed. Two-handed.
The man crush was going strong that
He
night.
is hunting Jesus. It's real bad for me.
You were
And
the
I-
wrong person to say hunting Jesus.
I know.
love the guy. But, hey, yeah.
Ah, jeez. Okay, I promised Jeff Bynum that I would say that on the podcast.
You're welcome, Jeffy.
Anything for Jeff. We like Jeff. Anything
Yeah.
for Jeff.
So yeah, I would have absolutely if it would have guaranteed him to come back to Texas. But yeah, he's just such a I don't know. He's kind of like
Well,
my hunting hero.
I don't know if my wife ever texted you, but she was like, I'm going to text him about his picture and say, man, I'm really proud of you hiding the boner so well.
That happens when you have such a tiny penis that it will never show. So
You just tuck
you
it
know.
back a little bit in the waistband.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I have a big gut because it just camouflages everything from my waist down now.
We've gone. You were talking about wheels off, me wanting a Stormwater Creek thing on the table. Now you're talking about your gut hiding your penis.
Welcome
I don't
to
think
Stormwater
I'm
Creek
wheels
Podcast.
I feel this is on track for us, but
I was talking about Excel spreadsheets on one of them.
Well,
VLOOKUPs.
I made my first podcast explicit just because I knew that shit like this was going to happen.
Absolutely.
you can do that. We probably should.
I
No?
like having those little hidden balls. Whoa,
Somebody's in the truck with their kids, like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
whoa, whoa. Exactly.
It's funny when I meet new people. I'm like they're like, man, you have a podcast. It's awesome. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm like, sweet. Just don't listen to it around the kids because I'm on it. Obviously.
We don't talk. We talk a lot about hunting and fishing, but we also talk about
everything.
Just not suitable for work at the beginning of the
Yeah.
podcast name.
You're probably gonna have to explain some stuff.
Yeah. Probably want a headset.
Your kid's
on when
10
you're
and you need to have that talk. Stormwater Creek podcast.
listening. Yeah, exactly.
It's a good intro.
Here,
It's a prelude.
Call us
go
ahead.
talk to your uncle. Go talk to your uncle Jordan. He'll tell you about all of that.
But it will not be correct.
Yeah. Wait, what did he tell you to do? No, that's not the right way
not
to
how
do
this
that.
works.
Daddy, what's a reach around?
Yeah.
Good Lord. All right, guys, let's get
Anywho.
back on track now. So
We have an adult.
Yeah. See?
we're going to talk today kind of out-of-state draws. Well, I guess it depends on what state you're from, but we're going to talk about Western state
Yeah.
draws, what states that, in my opinion, are short-term, states, what states are long-term, once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime type of states. Just kind of like someone from Texas, someone from out east wanting to get into the points game.
Yeah.
We're going to go at it from a perspective of someone that has 0 points.
Okay.
Because that strategy is going to be a lot different than someone who's 5 or 10 years into this.
Absolutely.
I'm 6 years into it right now, so I've got more states on my radar that I put in for than I would, get people started out in, and so
Let's say all three of us have 0 points.
Yeah.
So this is
And
good
we
for
want to
us.
hunt elk this year.
okay.
I don't.
Well,
But one
in the
as
play
a,
along
as,
world,
as a group, yes.
in the play along world that we're in, we all want to hunt elk this year. We're all from Texas.
We're
We
talking
have-
long-term
no.
strategy. You're gonna have to pull over the counter.
No, we're doing short and long term.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want, so like
Sorry.
just
I'm sorry.
So like from a strategy, today we wake up and we all decide we're going to be elk hunters, and we are going to start the long game and the short game. We want to start like hunting elk this year. Let's start there, and then we'll kind of build from that. So we want to hunt elk this year. What are we doing?
All right, so since today's the 10th, I think you have about 5 days left. First thing is New Mexico.
Okay.
Need to be putting in for New Mexico draw for elk. And so I believe the way New Mexico is split is I think it's 6% of the tags go to non-residents, 10% go into the guided draw, which either a non-resident or a resident can be in the guided draw, but it doesn't really make sense for a resident to put in.
Yeah.
So most of the time they're not in there. So mostly that's just for non-residents. And then the rest of the tags are going to residents.
Okay.
And so New Mexico has no point system. You can draw your first year. It could take you 100 years to draw if you're that unlucky. I mean, you may never draw, but it's a state that you have to put in for if you want to kill a good
Every
elk.
year, no matter how many years you put in, everybody's on the same footing.
Yeah, there's 0 points. But on the other side of the coin is New Mexico is a state where you have to pay it up front.
Yes, you do.
So like when I put in last year, we put in for a really nice unit, and we put in for backup units. We got our middle unit, and so they refunded a couple $100, whereas the big unit, I think $750, $800. So you have to pay that. You have to buy your license. You have to buy a couple other little things, and then they'll refund you if you don't draw. But be prepared. You have to pay up front.
So they changed this year. In years past, there was a box you could select that said if I'm unsuccessful in the draw, I want my hunting license refunded.
Mm-hmm.
They changed it this year where that $65 hunting license, they don't refund now.
We're keeping that.
So in order to apply, you're automatically going to be paying $65.
So, just to try to break it down a little bit, because we started with New Mexico, what kind of is the cost to apply for an elk tag?
So
It's
in
very
New
roughly-
Mexico,
it's unit dependent.
yeah, there are what they call their special bull units or big bull units, and they're kind of tiered. And so, like when I drew my tag, it was I think $821 or $829, $800 and something
And I
dollars.
think that's what mine was for entry last year.
Okay, yeah. So it's basically if you're going to apply for the best unit first. So
Yeah.
the way New Mexico works is you can apply for I think 3 units. They go through all 3 of your choices when your name is drawn, and if there is a tag available for the first one, you get that tag. If that tag's not available, they check your second choice. The same thing, if that tag's not available, they check your third choice. And so once they draw your name, they check all 3 choices. And then if all those choices are gone, then that's when you don't get a tag. But, if your first choice is available, you get that. If your second choice is available, and so on. But so in order to apply, you're going to have to buy the $65 license, and then you're going to have to pay for your tag up front.
Okay.
And then once the draw is complete, if you draw your tag, you've already paid for it. You owe nothing else. They just mail you your license. And if you don't draw your tag, they send you a refund of the tag price, minus a few dollars.
So on that license you have to buy, like, what does that get you? Like, could you still use it? Like, is it small games?
Yeah.
Like
Since
turkey?
you have that,
like,
you
I mean,
can
like,
go
what are we talking about here?
Over-the-counter turkey in New Mexico is $100. If you have that license, you can walk into, like when I went out there to turkey hunt, rolled into a Sportsman's Warehouse, bought a $100 turkey tag, and we rolled up the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was wondering. 'Cause, like,
so I
like
think
if you have to pay the
includes
$65 anyways, I mean, like, what else?
Exactly. Like in the last 2 years I've entered before it was mandatory to pay it. I mean, having gone out there and fished for years and liking New Mexico, I didn't check the box to refund it. Like, it's the least I can do to contribute to the cause.
Yeah.
But I've used it to turkey hunt. I think you can small game hunt with it also. So you enter, you could still go squirrel hunt, which there's some cool-ass squirrels. We've talked about.
Tasselier squirrels?
Yeah.
Man, I want one of those.
Aberts.
I'm sure you can predator hunt too,
Probably,
coyotes,
yeah.
coyotes,
That
bobcats,
kind of stuff.
stuff like that.
So
Yeah, so it's probably I don't know off the top of my head. I just know they made that change this year. But, and the strategy that you should use for that would be, pick the hardest to draw unit, put it as your first choice. Pick a medium tier unit for your second choice. And if you're really wanting to hunt, pick one of the 52, 51, one of those units up north. And, those have pretty good draw odds. There's a lot of elk. You're not going to kill a giant up
that's
there.
what we drew.
I mean, there's a possibility of killing a real big bull because it is New Mexico. But, those are just kind of the easier to draw units up there. And, obviously the Gila 34, 36, those are going to be the prime time units that everybody's wanting to draw. But, that's a state that if you really want to kill a good bull, you need to be applying for. I mean, because every unit in that state's got a 300-inch bull. And I really only know archery when it comes to all this stuff because that's all I've ever researched. So I'm not going to be the best person to talk to about like the late rifle seasons, the muzzleloader seasons, stuff like that. But I mean,
since we have decided to we're all bow hunters, we're all rifle hunters, obviously. So since this is we're stepping into the elk game thing, where do you recommend somebody, if obviously assuming that they're proficient and have good enough equipment to go on a bow or rifle your first year?
man, I'd go bow hunting.
Yeah.
Early season, it's warmer.
They're
bugling.
yelling.
Exactly.
Like, there's nothing like, y'all have seen the video, like when I shot my bull.
Yeah.
Like he screamed in my face at 30 yards.
Yeah.
Like, and I had 5 other bulls bugling within 150 yards. Like, that was the craziest situation I've ever been in my life. Like, it was nuts. Like, it's
Yeah.
awesome. And I mean, it's easier to find elk
Yeah.
then that time of year.
Absolutely.
I've hunted Colorado over the counter also, and like just the way New Mexico kind of sets up, you've got all that low desert stuff, and then like there's a mountain range.
Yeah.
Well, all the elk are in the mountain range, so it's
Yeah.
just they're kind of a little easier to find.
Isolated and
Yeah, it's like, Colorado, you've got all this public land, all this wilderness. They could be in any drainage.
Yeah.
And it's just a smaller area that you're trying to find them in, it seems like, in New Mexico. And, I mean, I'm sure there are areas of New Mexico, that are similar to Colorado, like on that northern side where there's lots of mountains, like Santa Fe area and stuff like that.
The Chama remind me a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but like where I was down in like the Gila, it's like there's like a mountain range, and then it's all desert down below. So you could find them a little
Yeah,
easier.
you know where they were
But
at.
it also seems like Colorado's like the go-to. Everyone I talk to that's like, I'm going to try to elk hunt. They're like, Colorado.
Because it's over
I'm
the
going to
counter.
Colorado. Right, but I mean
It's
like,
easy.
Yeah. So let's transition to Colorado. So you're wanting to elk hunt this year? Over the counter Colorado.
that made a transition?
Every
Pivot.
every unit in Colorado's got a 300-inch bull.
Yeah.
I mean, there's giant bulls. The The problem with Colorado is there's going to be a lot more people, and you're going to have to, used to you could get deeper in than everybody, go a little further than everybody. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
There's so many guys that are in badass shape. Like, the whole backpack hunting movement has made it to where, man, guys just, they get after it.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, myself, like Austin said earlier, they've gone elk hunting the last couple of years. I have not been able to. I'm going this year. I don't think they're going this year. So my brother and I are going, and we're looking at doing an over-the-counter unit and trying to do the backpack thing. And I'm, like, super torn right now by, does it make sense to, like, strap all that 7 days worth of food on your back, all the gear it takes to go into the backcountry and do a bivvy-type style camp? Or does it make more sense to, like, take a pack with 2-3 days worth of food, go in there. If there's elk, great. If there's not, get the hell out of there and find another place,
I think it all depends on what the area you're hunting is like. Where I hunted in New Mexico, it for sure was better for me to just truck camp. That way I could cover more ground.
Yeah.
The areas that I've hunted in Colorado, where I've found elk, there's no way that you could truck camp. I mean, it's, they're 4 or 5 miles from a trailhead. And that also depends. I hunted once in Colorado that we stayed at a hotel and just drove up the mountain every morning. And I saw one bull that trip, but it just kind of depends on the hunt, and that's just going to be part of your scouting on whether it makes sense to truck camp or whether it makes sense to backpack in. I think a lot of times that backpacking in limits you because you've got a day to hike in. You're stuck there for at least another day or two, and if you get back in there, there's other hunters or there's no elk, then you're losing days of hunting there. So,
and that's where this kind of juxtaposition between these two things comes in, because like you said, you get in there and you may have the whole place to yourself, or everybody's out there, right? And so I'm kind of in this middle, like, caught in between of, like, what we're going to do.
Yeah. So let me say one more thing about New Mexico, then we'll move on to Colorado. New Mexico changed the laws with their antelope this year to where basically a landowner can sell as many or let you shoot as many goats off their place as they want. I think that pronghorn's over the counter there now for private land. And if you've got private land you can hunt, if a farmer just was pissed off at the antelope, wanted to get rid of them, he could let hunters come on and shoot every one that he had if he wanted. And so I think that quality that we see in New Mexico on antelope is going to severely go down starting this year. So I wouldn't really worry about antelope. The sheep tags, there's only like 3 non-resident sheep tags. However, you're all on the same level playing field with no points. But you're going to have to front, $2,500, $3,000, something like that, whatever the tag cost. So,
get you a high limit credit card, no interest.
I don't think
that's what a lot of guys do.
I don't think $3,000 is a high limit credit card.
It is for me.
Yeah, if you can.
Sorry,
we're not.
Sorry, Austin. I don't have a I don't have like a $5,000 limit credit card like some people.
That's what a lot of people have done in the past.
Touchy subject.
Just
God.
Get a credit card with no interest, charge it all on there, make your minimum payment until they refund you, and then pay your credit card off. Yep.
And it helps your credit score.
Yep. And then.
So about never mind. I'm not stoking this fire. Continue, Gypsy.
And then mule deers, mule deer. There's a lot of mule deer in New Mexico. In my opinion, you're better off going to Arizona over the counter than trying to draw New Mexico.
You mean Lake Tawakoni?
Yeah, Lake Tawakoni.
Yeah.
So I don't mess with New Mexico for mule deer, but there's a few guys that just kill giants, and like Ryan Carter's kid killed a real big New Mexico deer. I think it was his kid. Yeah. So Ryan Carter, his kid, killed a pretty big buck a couple years ago. Tony Treach, he went in and killed a freaking stud this past year in January or December. And so, there's always kind of, those units that have big deer, but I don't mess with New Mexico for deer. So,
Yeah.
so moving on to Colorado, you got all the over-the-counter archery. I think there's actually over-the-counter rifle.
There is.
So I've never looked into it.
Second rifle is over the counter, and I want to say 80 or 90 units.
It's getting late season.
What's that?
I think it's second and third. They have
Oh yeah,
four.
second, third are definitely over the counter.
Okay, so you've got the opportunity to hunt in Colorado every year.
I mean, there's a lot of units in Colorado for the first rifle season that are 100% draw odds for a non-resident.
Yeah.
All you got to do is put in, so it's not over the counter, but you could put in and draw.
Yeah. As far as limited entry in Colorado, it's pretty bad right now if you're just starting out.
Yeah.
The only couple of units for archery that I would consider drawing at a low point level are still taking 3 to 5 points.
Yeah.
I think the one I'm going to draw is going to be like 6 to 7 points. By the time I draw it, I've got 5 points this year. And, after that level of points, it jumps up to like 12 or 13 to another good archery tag. And so Colorado, I think, is one of those that you might as well buy a point because you need to be applying to Colorado for mule deer.
Where do they sell those points for usually?
Can you buy just a point?
So this year you have to buy an $81 small game license.
Okay.
And then to apply for a point for deer and elk, it's $9.
Huh.
But Colorado is one of the
about $100.
states. Yeah, about $100. I think if you do deer, elk, and pronghorn, I think it's $127 or something like that.
Is
total.
that's all non-refundable?
And that's all non-refundable. But I will say this: if you have the itch to hunt mule deer at all, you need to be building points in Colorado.
Yeah.
Because basically all the units for archery mule deer are 1 to 5 points. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of like the top tier ones. I haven't spent the time like really digging into the top tier ones just because I only have 2 points right now. So the ones that are over that 2 or 3 points are like way above where I'll draw. And so, but the majority of those units are 1 to 3 points. And so, and you can go kill a really big buck. And so Colorado's like one of the top states that, you need to be putting in for mule deer in Colorado. Okay. And a change that I'm really excited about this year that most people aren't is the Big 3 in Colorado. So for years past, you had to front the 2,100 or whatever it was to put in for goat, sheep, and moose. So by the time you front each for the 3 species, you had about $7,000 that you're fronting to apply for those species. But what most guys realized is even though you're fronting that money, it's kind of a pain in the butt, you're getting all of it but like 10 or 12 bucks back a species. So it's not really costing much to apply.
Yeah, 30, 40 bucks.
Well, last year they changed it and basically screwed everybody and made it to where it cost $3 a piece or something just ridiculous to apply for the Big 3. And they had like a 400%.
$3?
Yeah, $3. Mm-hmm. And so they had like a 400 or 600% increase in applications for the Big 3 last year. And so this year what they did, sheep,
like
goat, and moose.
Abe could put $3 in his credit card
Exactly.
to front it.
My $200 limit will take that.
And so, the guys that had 20 points or 18 points, 16 points, they all got pissed off because, their odds just went down a ton.
Oh, man.
And so, but let's explain one thing. So in Colorado, goat, sheep, and moose, the first 3 years you apply, you're not even in the draw. After your 3rd year, the next year you apply when you have 3 points, that's when you start actually being eligible for the draw.
A ball in the mixer.
You get a ball in the mixer, and then after that year, you get what's called a weighted point. And so people that have more than 3 points, it's technically they have like 3 points plus 2 weighted points. So like your 5th year, you'd have 3 plus 2. And so that's how the draw works. But this year they changed it because they realized that they kind of screwed up last year. And now it's going to cost $100 per species for a preference point. So what essentially used to cost 12 or 13 bucks to put in for is now costing $100 a piece. And so I think that a lot of guys that are under that 3 plus 3 point level, I think a lot of those guys are going to bail. And
Or just pick one lane and
yeah, or pick one lane
And
so that they're
stay in
only
it, yeah.
spending $100. I mean, I had points for moose, and I bailed on moose this year because
Yeah.
moose tags, the odds are awful as it is.
Really?
And I didn't have as many moose points as I did sheep and goat. And so I bailed on moose this year, but I think a lot of people are going to bail on them. And I think 10 years from now, it's really going to help the guys that stay in.
the younger,
Yeah.
guys that are.
Weather the storm, spend the money.
Yeah, the guys who weather the storm spend the money. I think it's going to help their odds because, you also have to look at it, the fact that it takes 3 years before you're even in the draw. That means you're spending $300 per species before you
For
ever
nothing.
get your name
Yeah.
in the hat.
Not for nothing, but
Yeah, that's just your paying your
contribution.
your comeuppance.
And so I think that's also going to limit the number of new recruits they get for goat, sheep, and moose.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, 100%.
I think it's already hard enough. Like, just like the fact that that's such a distant thing for me. Like the thought of killing a bighorn, I'm like, I'm gonna kill like about 1 million, Barbary sheep before I kill them. One of those. Is that even a possibility in my lifetime?
What,
Well,
bighorn?
it's-
Yeah.
It's definitely not if you're not building the points for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know.
That's the
but,
problem.
Like, it's not even something that like is in my kind of like I'd obviously love to do it.
You haven't been to the
What?
sheep fucking show.
I haven't been to the sheep fucking show.
I wish I didn't have it in my mind.
Yeah.
It's going to be real expensive for me.
Yeah.
I'm probably booking a sheep hunt next January.
Good.
Good for you.
I'd like to hear the story.
Man, you just got to book it and then pay for it over a couple years.
Pay it off.
You can't take the money with you when you die.
That's exactly right.
See, we're planning in a few
The
years
kids?
doing mountain lions.
Screw the kids.
Nice.
Because we were thinking about it because I turned 40 in 4 years, and I want to do something cool. I'm thinking through it, like, we could book a badass guided elk hunt. I think I can kill an elk on my own.
Yeah, you
same,
can.
same for, like, other stuff, but running lions with dogs is really the only way to kill them, from my understanding.
Yeah.
So I feel like spending the money on a guide for that is well spent to check that box. I want to do that.
I need to find me a friend with dogs.
You do.
I got
I'll
3.
give him a whole mess of beer to help me kill a lion.
Yeah, a lion's pretty high up on my list just because that's one of those that may be taken from us at some point.
Exactly.
There's every year there just was the one where the Colorado lady was all bloody, posted pictures. Like that's going to be one of those that they've already done it in California. Can't hunt them there. I mean, that's going to.
But they pay state. The state pays sharpshooters or whatever to go
They still
shoot
get
them
killed.
instead of having hunters pay to come shoot them. Like, that's California in a nutshell. They're ruining their own economy as fast as they can.
Yeah, they're not real
I don't
smart.
understand it.
But the problem is
We should sell it to the Chinese, as far as I'm concerned.
the Californians.
Then let them turn the whole goddamn place into golf courses. Japanese would absolutely do that.
What's funny though is, hey, the people from California, they hate California and want to move out of California, but then they move somewhere and they vote to turn that place just into California.
Yeah.
It's the.
It's like they can't figure it out.
I don't get it.
Oh man. that's
Oh
funny.
man.
All right, so let's get back at it. Colorado, you got to apply for goat, or not goat.
It's like
for
the
mule
7
deer.
degrees of Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon.
Don't
We
apply
started
for
ta-
goat.
We started talking about bighorns, mountain lions, California. Fuck those people.
Anywho.
And that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Bacon.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
6.
So you got to apply for deer in Colorado, and if you're
Have
applying
to.
for deer, might as well buy an elk point. It's $9,
Why not?
$13, something like that.
If you're already spending the $81 license,
Yeah.
do it. Do it all.
Might as well. So your other option is Idaho. They have really good over-the-counter stuff in Idaho. It's a long-ass drive for
That
us.
is what
That's-
the limiting fact. Because I was looking at Idaho this year and was like, oh my God, it's 23 hours up there.
You need 3, you knock it out. Just drive. Sleep and drive, sleep and drive.
Yeah, that's what's kept me from it. But now that old Bynum's up there, I'm just going to fly in and make him drive me from the airport.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking, too, when we were talking about this.
Yeah.
But Idaho has some really good elk hunting. Honestly, a lot of people, I've never been there, so I can't say this is true or not, but a lot of people say the over-the-counter in Idaho is better than the over-the-counter in Colorado. And that's because there's less people.
It's isolated.
Yeah, it's more isolated. You don't have all these fuckers from Texas coming up there.
Yep.
So that would be high on my list if I thought I could drive there.
Yeah.
But when you're already trying to go hunt 7 or 8 days, and it takes 2 days to drive somewhere, 2 days to drive back, it adds up. It's hard to get off work that long.
That's the thing, right? I just can't get out of I can't get away to make it. I can't justify it, like you said, unless you fly up there. But then you're like, okay, well, logistically, how am I dealing with that? Is it like, I've got to check my rifle or check my bow, and how do I get the meat back? And at what point does it become just completely cost prohibitive for the average person to be able to go and do that? Like I said, I think it's a trucker meth in 3 days with 3 buddies. Three buddies and just go,
Yeah, 3 buddies and driving straight through is it's kind of the way you have to approach it to get there, get everything, done.
I feel like you'd get to the trailhead and just be hammered dog shit, though.
Yeah.
That's
You'd be
the problem,
surprised,
too.
man.
Dude, you get so jacked that you're about to go elk hunting that
And maybe it's not the way up there; it's the way back.
Yeah,
the way back's
back is a shit show, dude.
unless you kill something, then you're
Well,
still
then you're-
jacked on the way back.
I wouldn't know.
But how long does that last? Are you about, Denver, and you're like, all right, I'm over it. I just want to be home.
Yeah.
No, you definitely get that way from being out in the woods that long. You stink.
Yeah,
You're tired. You're delirious, but
it's awesome.
you make it home for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Sudafed monsters.
Sudafed monsters. That's what I meant by trucker speed.
Yes.
Toilet bowl crank.
Yeah.
Other than the over-the-counter elk, though, in Idaho, which also deer's over-the-counter, too, I believe.
Mule deer,
Yeah, other than that, unless you're wanting to draw, goat, sheep, or moose, there's no points in Idaho either. So it's kind of one of those states that, it's not a must apply for. Like, if you want to go hunt, but you don't need to be applying every year. It's not one of those must applies
For a
in
Texan,
my
for
opinion.
sure. I mean,
yeah,
like,
for a Texan,
yeah.
Wyoming, it's a little bit of a drive. But Wyoming is one of those that I would say if you're wanting to kill an elk, I'd probably apply for it.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty short-term draw state still for a general tag. And from, like I said, I've never been there either, but from everybody that I've talked to, the general tag in Wyoming is better than an over-the-counter tag in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's still got less people. There's a bunch of general tags they give out, but there's still less people. It's really remote. You have to be careful because as a non-resident, you can't hunt a wilderness area without a guide or a resident that I think there's like a resident guide.
Like a chaperone type deal.
Yeah, they can get certified to be like a resident guide.
So what's the reason? Why did they do that?
I have no idea. I think
Alaska's
it's bullshit.
the same way, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't disagree with Alaska because
Alaska's not the same way. Alaska, the way it works is you're allowed to hunt wherever, but you're not allowed to hunt grizzly, mountain goat, or sheep
it's
without a guide.
species specific.
It's species specific, but the problem that I see in Wyoming is someone can go to that same wilderness and fish or hike all they want.
Yeah.
But they can't
Elk
have
hunt.
a tag and go kill an elk in there. I think it's one of those things that the residents got through before
the
everybody
guiding industry?
thought.
Yeah.
Before the guiding industry,
Yeah.
they got it passed. They got it through before all the non-residents threw a fit and realized how dumb it was.
Yeah.
And so I think that was just kind of one of those things they did, and it's pretty shitty, really.
I mean, like you said, I could understand if they're like, if it's a safety concern because they're like, look, we don't want people getting lost. And so to avoid that, just like you're not going out into wilderness areas unless you're very familiar with the terrain or you're with somebody who knows what the hell they're doing.
But if that was the issue, then someone shouldn't be able to go in and fish.
Exactly.
or hike.
Right.
It
No,
should
for
be
sure.
the same across the board for non-residents
Absolutely.
and not just, force out the hunters.
Agreed.
And so that's kind of crappy, but, there's some pretty affordable guided hunts you can do up there.
Yeah.
And, at $5,000-$6,000 once you draw the tag,
Yeah.
which compared to some of the, elk hunts nowadays, that's pretty
It's pretty good.
good. I mean, when you really start looking at all the guided hunts now, everybody's wanting 10 grand for everything.
Yeah.
Like almost across the board, everything's 10 grand.
Entry
anymore.
fee is 10 grand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with like a deer lease here in Texas. I mean, it's just like it's almost like cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. I'm looking at sheep hunts now, and like, if I would have booked one when I booked my moose hunt, like the price of my moose hunt, or my moose that I killed,
Yeah.
that price hasn't went up but maybe a couple $1,000
Yeah.
since I killed it. But if I would have booked a sheep hunt then, it would have saved me like $8 grand.
Jesus.
Like it's gone up like 8 to 10 grand
See,
since then.
like same as Abe, like sheep's so out of my realm right now.
Yeah.
Like I got an elk box I want to check real bad.
Yep.
I've gotten the West Texas mule deer sickness because it's approachable, and then a moose, and a bear, black bear, and a mountain lion. Like that's my focus. And then maybe we check those boxes and I'm bored. Yeah, let's start looking at sheep. But I know on the other side of the coin, I need to start applying now if I'm ever going to do it.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what do you agree with that?
Yeah, I want to kill a sheep before I die. I won't be happy if I don't.
Sure.
And with them going up in value like they are,
Yeah.
I just feel like I need to get one booked up in either Alaska or Northwest Territories.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm probably going to book one.
Just
And
kinda-
but here's where my problem's going to come in. If I book a sheep hunt up in Alaska or Northwest Territories and kill a doll, and then at some point in my life draw a desert or a Rocky, and I'm halfway to the four, that's where it's going to get
Yeah,
expensive
that's
for me.
Yeah.
Now I have to commit to this.
Now I have to commit to killing all four. Like that's where it'll get expensive for
Yeah.
me. One doll sheep, yeah, you're
I mean, and
looking
to
at
do all
you're looking
four-
at 25,000.
Yeah, I was about to say, getting all four, you're going to be at $100,000.
Yeah, the way I look at it, I don't have a truck payment right now. And so,
So there you go.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just
Save.
taking $650 a month and putting it in an account, and I'm just basically making a truck payment to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Look, you really and truly right now, you don't have to have no in your heart, and you just need to go and be like, let's do all four of these right now. 'Cause, I mean, it's happening. You're already halfway there, talking yourself into it. You're giving yourself that out, like I'm gonna get halfway,
Yeah.
and I gotta get all four.
Well, I feel like if I ever want to kill one, I just need to book one. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because once you break that door down, then it like
Caribou.
it'll come.
Caribou's on my list, too.
Caribou.
We're at Caribou. Like,
Alaska, for sure. Birch
like-
Range.
yeah. That's on my list
The
too.
40
How
mile herd?
did we get
40
from
mile.
Wyoming back to sheep? That's
that-
how bad
I
I have the
ste-
sheep bug.
I stepped away, and so I didn't know y'all moved to Wyoming. And then I
We were talking
yanked
about
you
just
off the trail.
wilderness and everything.
Yeah.
And just,
Oh, in Alaska and the
Yeah.
sheep. That's how it. Yeah. Yeah. So Wyoming is one of those that the general tag is really good. So that's a short term state for sure. The long term states, because we're kind of out of the short term states now. The long term states would
So
be
let's just recap the short-term states:
Okay.
New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming.
yeah, and then Idaho
Idaho.
for over the counter.
Yeah.
And then, moving on to the long-term states, this is for if a guy wants to play the draw.
Okay.
It's for if you want to invest. Arizona could be first year to 15 or 20 years. That's one of the states. And Arizona and Nevada are the same. So they're both really slim draw odds, but there's always a possibility.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we mentioned this. Colorado for deer and elk are a pure preference point system. So the
Okay.
people with the most points get the tags first. So say you've got 10 tags, there's 5 people with 6 points. Those 5 tags are gone. Then you got 5 tags left. Say you got 3 with 4 points, then those 3 tags will be gone to the 4-point people. And then say you got 30 people with 3 points. The other 2 tags, I think 2, my math's right. The other 2 tags would just be drawn randomly from those people.
Yeah.
And so, but Arizona and Nevada are not that way because they're like a bonus point system. So the more preference points you have, basically the more names in a hat you have.
Okay.
And so both of those states you have to buy a license. I think it's $160 in Arizona and maybe 90 or $100 in Nevada. I haven't done my Nevada app this year, so I don't know it off the top of my head. But the Arizona one is a good deal in my opinion because you can go hunt over-the-counter deer, which so far of all the over-the-counter hunts I've done has been the most badass over-the-counter hunt. I'll do that hunt every year.
Yeah.
Unless I just have something else keeping me from it, I'll go hunt over-the-counter deer in Arizona.
Maybe
every
not
year.
with Trevor.
No, I'll go with Trevor.
He didn't take you on a death march?
No, I took Trevor on the death march.
You took Trevor on the death march.
Yeah, I took Trevor on the death march, and he was very nice and kind of stayed with me and Gangle because he's in way better shape than us.
Yeah.
He's also got way longer legs, too, so he can
Yeah.
hike like a motherfucker.
He's a fucking beast.
But that's a hunt I'll do every year, so like I don't mind giving them $160 a year.
Yeah.
Because one day, hopefully, I'll draw a badass elk tag or a badass mule deer tag,
And
but then I get to hunt mule deer over the counter by doing that. So that's one of those long-term states, though. You know, you're never going to be guaranteed a tag in Arizona. And so Nevada is a state that if you want to kill a giant elk, probably should apply for. However, you may never draw a tag.
Yeah.
It's like a once-in-a-lifetime elk
What does
tag.
cost?
I don't know off the top of my head, Nevada.
Oh,
I
come
think
on.
it's like $100. It's like 91 or 100 or it's something
Is it
that.
well, like as far as application fee versus refundable?
So that's a non-refundable. The Nevada, you have to buy a license like Arizona.
Sure.
And then, you know, it's kind of like Arizona in the fact that once you buy the license, it's not very much to apply for each species. It's like $10.
okay.
But you have to buy the license. I think it's $81. It's either 81 or 60 or something like that. But it's somewhere between 50 and $100. And you know, they have really good early archery deer tags. They have late archery deer tags. They have really good mule deer hunting. And those are, you know, I would say you could draw a deer tag every 5 or 6 years, but a lot like Arizona, you're never guaranteed to.
Yeah.
Well, Arizona, I think that once you do get to the top of the preference points, I think you're guaranteed a tag, but then there's a certain number set aside for bonus points. But Nevada, I think it's just completely bonus points. And so you're not ever guaranteed, but I mean, 5 or 6 years, you'll probably draw a good archery deer tag. So, but the elk in Nevada, they're giant. Like, Nevada's one of the best states for elk, so it's just a once-in-a-lifetime tag. So you got to decide that you're going to put your time in.
So if I draw that tag, even if I don't kill anything, I'm never drawing it again.
Probably not, unless you get really lucky.
Yeah.
So, I hate to sidetrack, but Oklahoma elk.
I know nothing about them.
Okay. I'm gonna start replying there a bunch because they've got managed herds, and they say it's close to home, which I kind of like, and it's a box I want to check, and it's a lifetime. If you draw and kill, you're done.
Yeah.
Kind of like to check that box. But
Yeah, I know nothing about
I haven't
it.
dug super deep
It's
because
like Arkansas, too.
the verbiage on the website is super muddy, as always. So this year I'm going to call someone and be like, all right, how do I apply for elk? Do we have preference points? What are draw odds? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and just actually talk to a human there.
Arkansas is like one of those places that is, you know, if you, for $150, I think you get an elk tag, a black bear tag, a turkey tag, and a handful of deer tags.
There's elk in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about Arkansas
Learn
that's
something
kind
new
of
every
crazy. So in Arkansas, there's 6 managed elk counties. They're all on the north-west border. Okay. In those 6 counties, you cannot kill an elk with that $150 tag. However, anywhere else in the state you see an elk, shoot it in the face for the $150. It's done.
So you just got to hunt the county edges, basically?
Yeah.
Well, it's like elk in West Texas. You don't even have the tag
Exactly.
for them.
Yeah, because they're exotics.
And there's a
but,
ton of them.
But how do you get onto them?
That's the thing.
It's just private ranches.
Yeah.
There's some private ranches with.
Jacksboro.
There's
an elk
someone-
ranch in Jacksboro. You can go kill an elk for $1,500 in 2 hours from here.
Yeah, but I'm talking low fence in
Oh,
West
yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Like West
Decatur.
Texas has some really good low fence elk hunting. I mean, there's quite a few elk out there,
Yeah,
you know, on the New Mexico border. But got to be friends with a rancher or pay some pretty good money.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've heard of people getting public land elk out there.
Oh, really?
Like
I mean, it's a
But
luck.
it's like
luck.
yeah,
Black
it's-
Gap and all that area,
Super
yeah.
super luck, but like that's been one of my boxes I want to check. Like just
public
get that
land
lucky.
elk in
Just like,
Texas.
holy
I-
shit.
I look at it better than playing the
But
lottery to me.
I think
you
for
know what
us,
I mean?
like you said, that's the thing. I think one of the big things too is that everybody who's like sitting where, like we're quote unquote sitting today, which is, hey, we want to go hunt elk. We've never done it before. Everybody looks west, and maybe they probably should look west, but
You can look a little northeast, too.
But you can look a little northeast as well because Kentucky's coming back. They got them in North Carolina now. I mean, there's a real huge push to put elk back in those places. And not that it may be easy, but
It's
It's
options.
really hard to get a tag.
it's really hard. But, I mean, like I said, in Arkansas, if you're a waterfowler like us, like we are, holy crap, that's the mecca. So for $150, you can go get an
Shoot some ducks and
Yeah.
see an elk, shoot it in the face, and
that's kind of cool. So where
Yeah.
did we leave off?
I think we left off at
Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nevada gives out the most number of non-resident sheep tags of any state. The odds still are awful.
Yeah.
They suck, but they're giving out a shit ton of tags, so you might as well be in there. If you're going to apply for deer and elk,
Throw your name into the sheep tag.
throw in there for the sheep tag. And so, that state, basically all your tags are going to be very few and far between. But when you draw one, it's going to be a quality tag.
Yeah.
So, and then the last one that I consider a really long-term state is Utah. That's the one state that I have no idea what the hell I'm doing there.
Yeah.
Like, I have 5 or 6 points there for everything, and I really have no plans on hunting it unless I just pull a
Rabbit out of the
yeah,
hat. type
just
thing.
unless I pull a crazy tag.
Yeah.
It's $80 or $60 for a license, and then $10 a species, I think, something like that.
we skied Park City at Christmas last year, and like soon as we got out of Salt Lake, headed toward Park City, there's 2 pastures just goddamn full of bulls, just bedded down like 200 yards off the highway.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
bastards.
Utah is that state known for the 400-inch bulls. I mean, Arizona, Utah, Nevada. That's where all the big elk are. And
I mean,
you
just
got
because-
like
Is it limited, kind of, and that's why they're just able to mature? And
yeah, they just have good genetics. That's where Ryan Carter guides,
Yeah.
DC Outfitters or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they kill 400 inchers almost every year. I think last year was kind of down because of the drought, but I mean, there's just giant bulls there. A state that I have applied for in the past, I think I'm going to drop it this year and just save the money, is Montana. I applied for sheep there. Or not sheep, I'm sorry, goat. I applied for mountain goat there because the crazy mountains, they give out quite a few tags. But I've noticed that they're kind of trending downward. The population is. The success rate has kind of started taking a dump. And so I think I would rather just save that $100 a year to go towards a hunt somewhere. Other than that, there's a lot of opportunity in Montana. There's the elk combo, the deer combo, and the deer elk combo license that you can get. And those seasons are really long.
Yeah.
I don't think they're weapon dependent. I think you can hunt like archery, switch
Through
on to rifle. Like,
and how much does something like that cost?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I've never looked into buying that one. I probably should have got my notes out.
That's
I'm just kind of going off the top of my head right now.
that
It's okay.
exists. You can Google it.
So you have notes on you?
No, I just saying I should have made notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I should have took the time to prepare.
No,
we don't do
that's
that
a-
here.
We do very
that's
little of that.
That's so fun.
No. So, what about these? Like, I keep on some of the podcasts I listen to, over-the-counter like sheep tags,
So yeah, the unlimited tags.
unlimited tags. Yeah.
Basically, you can go buy a sheep tag and go hunt one of a few unlimited areas, and they limit the number of sheep that can be taken off these areas. They have a hotline that you call, and it tells you if the unit you're hunting has been closed or not. Some years the quota is filled, some years it's not. and it's a really hard hunt. And I mean,
A few
chances
podcasts have talked about that.
the chances of seeing a legal ram are very, very low.
Slim.
And I mean, but guys kill legal rams every year. Those guys doing that are hardcore, and they spend time up there finding them.
That's the thing. They just go, I'm going to take 6 months of work off and just go.
That's the
live in the
14-day
mountains.
guys.
That's the guys that are out there 10, 14 days. I know the owner, the owner of Stone Glacier.
that
I
dude.
believe he killed an unlimited ram. I think I've only heard of one archery unlimited ram ever.
Yeah.
If I remember right, that's all I've heard of.
I
There
can
may
only
have been a
imagine.
couple more, but
F that, bro.
Are you going to be the next one?
dude,
How
I
much?
don't
I think
know.
you should, man.
Where's that at? Is that
That sounds like
Montana?
your
Montana.
game.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. If I get that desperate to kill a Rocky Mountain sheep, like if I somehow kill my first 3
Yeah.
and I'm that desperate to kill a Rocky Mountain sheep, I may have to go to the unlimited areas.
And just go
But
sit up
that's
there.
a long time away.
Yeah.
There may not be unlimited areas by the time that
Yeah.
happens.
You got a ways to go.
I have 0 sheep. I need 3 before that becomes an option.
Before you bite that bullet.
Yeah, it would be fun though. I mean, just spending time up there and trying to find those sheep, I think would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys that go up there and get it done, they hunt their ass off. So,
I can't even imagine. That's just like, that's a crazy kind of like, you got to be a little bit off to be able to go up there and do that and just deal with that kind of ass whipping.
Yeah,
Inevitably, it's got to come with that.
for sure.
Because you got to know that some like Yahoo like messes it up, like you get in there and then like somebody comes across. I mean, because it's just like, I feel like, that would be miserable to have to go through,
Yeah.
Or get in there, finally find a sheep, and the unit had been closed like the day before or
Yeah,
something. Like, I think you get like a 36-hour grace period or something to where like if something happens
But
and
you
they go
gotta have a
over the
sat
quota one,
Yeah.
but it's still
But you got to
Yeah.
have a sat phone.
yeah, you'd have to have a sat phone
Yeah.
because you have to check it. That or you'd have to have like a DeLorme and like text your wife or something and say, hey, call the
Call
hotline for me.
Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I have a DeLorme. It's the best. That's the best thing I've ever bought. I don't think I would have gotten to do some of the hunts I've done without
Without
the
it.
DeLorme, because I mean, I'm basically in constant contact with my wife. Like every day, I can text her, like let
You
her
can
know
text
I'm
her
okay.
whatever you want, or is it like
Yeah,
selected
so
messages?
I have the Explorer, the bigger one, the new one, and it literally just Bluetooths to your cell phone, and it's just text messages. I mean, it's
Oh, so it's like a device it's like a hotspot, like a mobile hotspot, if you will.
yeah, that's basically all it is. Here's the
So DeLorme goes through satellite.
so like that's what it looks like. It literally looks just like
Oh, yeah.
text.
So you're just texting on your phone with
Yeah,
that
you're
device.
just texting on your phone.
Oh,
And the device is sat-link.
Yeah, just a satellite, and it sends a.
And what does the service cost? And you have to like have a subscription. You can be like, all right, I'm gonna hunt just during X season. Can I pay for 4 months?
Yeah, so the cool thing is it's monthly. You can turn it off at the end of every month, but you have to pay like a $25 or $30 yearly fee just to keep your subscription active.
Sure.
And so it's like 30 or 45 bucks a year to keep your subscription active. And then I think it's $70 for unlimited text for a month.
Oh, that's not
So-
bad
Yeah,
for
that's-
for sat.
Yeah,
for that
so-
peace
for
of
sat
mind that gets
communication.
you. That's
Yeah, so like
Well,
I
on the other
turned.
end of that, like, I mean, the wives would,
Your wife does not
Probably
like.
would appreciate
She
it.
no,
worries about you
she
dying.
worries about me dying.
which is, I mean,
A legitimate
Yeah.
worry. Even though I don't cut myself like one of us does.
yeah, but he's hard to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Really hard.
I
to
haven't
Should have
kill.
died
died
yet.
so many times
Except
now.
Except for his shoulders.
That's almost better.
Yeah, the DeLorme's by far the best thing I've ever bought.
Yeah.
Mine got stolen. The one I had from my elk hunt,
Yeah.
it got
Was that with all
stolen
your
out of
gear?
my truck.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
When you lost all your podcast gear and all
Yeah.
everything? I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it got stolen, and so I just bought this new one before Arizona because I knew I needed it for New Zealand. Because New Zealand, I have no idea what's happening over there. Like, I'm just showing up, meeting Todd, and we're going. Like, I have no
How do
idea
you
where we're
spell
hunting.
that? Delorme, D-O.
It's called an inReach.
Yeah, Google. It's Garmin now.
Garmin
Google
inReach.
Garmin inReach Explorer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
Which
up
one?
there.
Which
pieces
one
of
do you
gear.
have?
I have the orange Explorer Plus or whatever.
Oh, Explorer. Okay.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, if you're gonna be
$450.
if you're gonna be out doing that kind of thing, to be able to
Yeah.
have that kind of like
Yeah.
communication back home.
100%.
And it's got the SOS feature where if you kick
Yeah.
it on, they'll come get you. Like, it's a cool thing for
So
sure.
that was the that we talked about this on the last podcast, but the bear attack on a Fognac that the dude that Ben O'Brien had on his podcast, he got straight up mauled by a grizzly on a Fognac, and I guess is it a grizzly or a brown
And he
bear?
talked about the SOS thing was kind of shitty.
It
Yeah.
took him.
Did you listen to that podcast?
Yeah, I did listen.
He
to
was
that
he was saying that that he's like nobody really knew what it meant. He was like after it all said and done, they're like we saw that, we just didn't really know.
Well,
maybe
it's
that's
just
something
like,
BHA
who's in
needs to
charge
get
of
on.
getting the SOS?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
well, is this like it goes, and who's gonna go and get them? And
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I get it if you're by yourself and you're just like, send fucking help, like. At least, if nothing else, you'll find
I mean,
my
at
body.
least there is an SOS out there in
Exactly.
the universe.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like-
I mean, it's better than the alternative.
Sending
of
things
nothing.
into the universe.
Somebody come get
Maybe
me.
somebody will see it anyway.
Exactly.
At least you can text your wife, "Hey, I just cut my leg off." Like,
You should call someone.
yeah, I
shit's been
sent
good.
I sent the SOS. Maybe you should call someone
Yeah.
for us. Like,
I would
Call
recommend.
call the Coast Guard. You know where I'm at. Fix this shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna lay here and try not to bleed to death.
yeah.
Don't
so
really feel like talking.
it also, anytime you send a text message, you can turn this off or on. But anytime you send a text message, it pops a link up to whoever you send it to. You can click that link and it'll show on a map exactly where you are.
Oh, that's badass.
So like your wife will be able to see like he's in
At
that
least the last-
drainage in those mountains.
Good. He's in it. He's actually in a drainage and not in the
Not
drainage, which
dead.
is a strip club in Denver.
Yeah, or the Great Alaskan Bush Company up there in Anchorage.
Yeah.
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 It's a great place.
I have the funniest story about that place. That's nothing to do with me. My buddy told me this story though.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've never been to Alaska, so I wasn't there. But he said that he said they had just got done with a brown bear hunt, and he had like an 8-hour layover before he had to go to the airport. And so him and a buddy go to the Great Alaskan Bush Company, and they got real drunk. They got real shitty, and he said he got on the plane and had like $900 cash in his pocket. Like he left the strip club with cash. He's like, I have no idea where it came from. He's like, I checked my ATM statement. I didn't get any cash out.
Yes.
He's like, I don't know if I robbed it from the stripper or what.
Like somehow, like
She paid you.
yeah. Isn't
I'm
that-
so good, I got paid by a stripper.
Oh man,
amazing.
yeah.
You are that good, Jordan.
Don't
And
encourage this.
and the
Don't
Bush
encourage this.
company's really hit and miss, though. Like, sometimes you go there, like, it's really good. Sometimes it's not.
You been there?
Yeah, I've been to Anchorage.
I've never been up there.
He went up there for work.
Oh, that's funny.
Work.
Oh
At
man.
work.
Yeah, well, I guess that about covers all the states that I know anything about. And I know
That's-
some of my info wasn't absolutely perfect, but it gives you an idea.
Yeah, it's a structure.
I feel like
it's
that's
a
how like
framework.
everybody that talks about it.
We don't want to
even if they
hand
really,
out
really
like
know.
this how you go draw tags.
Yeah, no, but
Make people do some work.
Well, if you want to know exact cost for
I can't do
everything,
that.
get on Go Hunt.
Yeah.
Go Hunt is that's like the best thing that's ever come out.
I got it as a trial subscription and just let it bill me the $150 because I was like, this is awesome.
My subscription lapsed the other day,
Yeah.
and like I know exactly what I'm doing for the next year and a half, and so I didn't re-up it just because I was like, well, I'll save $150. Like I'm not putting in for anything. I don't really
Yeah.
need to research, and I've been like just so sad.
missing
I've
it.
been missing it.
I haven't ever tried it out. I know of it.
It's-
Evan Porterfield
it's amazing.
from Austin is he told me that they're about to add Kansas to it.
Nice.
So you'll be able to. They're going to
There's some
start
big
adding-
ass deer in Kansas.
Dude,
Whitetails.
and there's some like
Tons of public land.
a lot of
Yeah.
public land, like a lot of like opportunity to go up there for not that much money if you want to kill a monster
At
pheasant
Tawakoni?
hunted up there.
at Tawakoni. For I think like $400 or $500 you can go up there and just walk onto a F ton of public land and
They have a lot of walk-in areas, I think.
walk-in areas and things like that. And
Yeah.
once again, kind of that whole New Mexico thing we were talking about, where it's just like nothing, so you know there's no deer there, and then clump of woods, and that's where they're all at, So
Yeah, y'all could do a Kansas podcast with the Element Crew.
they
We
killed
could.
they killed a giant up there. Yeah, those boys have been hard at work.
They really like whitetail.
They're whitetail fanatics, man.
I don't hate them that much.
Man, I tell you,
That's a lot of work for a little old whitetail.
I really like. I was like, I'm gung ho about killing a whitetail on public land, but after this year, I hunted ducks more than I
We
did
gave him the
whitetail.
duck sickness.
I got it bad,
Yeah.
and so I'm all about trying to kill them, and I will always keep going after it. But it's somebody's birthday here at Legal Draft.
They're 30.
Did we have a birthday last time we recorded here?
Yeah, we had but it was
Nice
like a 90-year-old's birthday. Because they kept talking to us about, hey, when he walks in, can you
We
stop
had
your
to
podcast?
stop for a second.
So I think we just waited until it was after.
I don't remember.
We had to wait for them to surprise the person.
Surprise the person, then we were able to do it. So
Yeah.
Wow.
But so go hunt if you want. Whoa, what's going on?
It's a
Yeah, so if you want to know like exact cost to apply places, like get on Go Hunt. Like they've got all of that broke down.
you can do like I want to go hunt Montana. I'm a non-resident during archery season for elk with no points.
Yeah,
Nothing's
it'll
available.
tell you what's available, what's not available. If you're shit out of luck, like
What
it's
units?
a really good service. I mean, I found my elk unit that I killed my bull 100% on Go Hunt.
Yeah.
Like no one told me, hey, go to this unit. Like that was all just dicking around on there, and it's a really good website.
And just the information about each individual unit, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
Because you go in there and you're like, I want to hunt unit 43, and awesome. So here's what 43 is, and here's everybody talking about it. And I don't know. I'm a big fan of it, and we have no affiliation with them. So
No, Brady's cool. I know Brady.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. But yeah, Go Hunt's awesome. So, like, I just gave you kind of an idea of being a non-resident, getting into it, what states I would kind of look at applying.
Yeah.
But don't take like my exact numbers of things to heart.
word is gospel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do your research.
Exactly.
So being brand new elk hunters, quote unquote, as we are, like what kind of a budget should we look at for putting in for draws? Should we start with like one or two states, or should we just like shotgun approach it? Like, what do you?
So Randy Newberg kind of went through this on his elk podcast
Yeah.
that him and Corey Jacobson do.
Yep.
The way it kind of sets up is Wyoming is first. So you can apply for Wyoming. By the time you get your Wyoming refund is when you need to be putting in for like New Mexico. So you can almost kind of plan it out to
Roll
where
some cash through
roll
it.
some cash through it.
So you're
And
not
so-
tying everything up in one. In
Yeah,
all the states
exactly.
at once.
On your
Yeah.
$300 credit card limit.
Exactly.
You can always try to find a zero interest credit card. Do
Yeah.
it that way. That's how a lot of guys have done it forever. Yeah, I mean, if you go real hard at it, you're going to probably be spending $1,500 to $2,000 non-refundable a year.
Yeah.
I'm at about $1,500 a year that I don't give back. If you just pick the states like that I was talking about being short term, it's going to be a lot less
Yeah.
because like Arizona, Utah, and Nevada, you have to buy a license in all three of those states. So if you're not worried about the long term and kick those out, I mean that's a lot less non-refundable cash there. So
I think it'd be kind of foolish to not look long term though. You know?
Yeah, it's.
I mean, because if you're going
Once
to go
you
to
check your short-term boxes, it's like, well, do
I
I,
mean,
just
unless
go
you're
back
just-
there again?
That's the thing, right? If I'm just like, I don't think like I'm not interested in just like I just want to go kill an elk. Like
Yeah.
I want to make this
I wanna
a thing over a course of time.
And
So
see some other states
Yeah.
and do other. Not just
You
like,
know,
all
so
right,
it's-
let's just hammer Colorado and kill an elk in Colorado every 3 years, 4
I'd really
years.
like to go to the Missouri to the breaks section in Montana and,
Yeah.
and hunt there. That's a like 7, 8 year prospect, 6-year prospect or something for me to be able to do. So it's like, okay, well, 6 years from now, if I start right now, I could have it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, no one's getting younger.
You know, it kind of, honestly, if you're looking at elk and mule deer, in my opinion right now, the way point creep is and the way that it's just getting harder and harder to draw a tag.
So just for somebody who doesn't know what point creep is, what is point creep?
Basically, so if a unit took 5 points this year to draw, next year it may take 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's because the number of people that are getting more points is outnumbering how many tags are drawn the year before, basically. And so, you know, if I was just getting into it, some of those longer-term states, I might forego the ones that you have to buy a license in, put that cash aside. Like, don't just forego them and do nothing.
Yeah.
But, like, add up the amount of cash it's going to cost you to apply for them. Put that money in an account for a hunting account, or put it away for, you know, somewhere, wherever you want to put it, gun safe, hunting account, whatever. And then every year save up. And in a couple of years, I mean, you're going to be able to go on a $7,000-8,000 guided elk hunt on a
Yeah.
private ranch or something and kill your 320 bull,
Yeah.
like in New Mexico. Or buy, you know, every 4 or 5 years, go ahead and buy you a New Mexico landowner tag
Yeah.
if you don't get drawn.
Yep.
I mean, and that's kind of one of those things. Like even now, like if I wasn't 6 years into it, I kind of look at it and I'm like, man, you know, every 10 years I could go on a mountain goat hunt, spending $1,500 a year. I mean,
It's true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like that's a mountain goat hunt every 10 years or a $15,000 hunt. Like, and so it's just kind of if I didn't want to kill a sheep so bad,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't play it as hard as I play it. But now I'm kind of too deep into it.
Yeah.
I think the shorter term stuff are the better ones right now for people to really get into. But that just all depends on your budget and how bad you want to kill certain stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all kind of personal preference.
I got that elk fever bad.
We all do.
It'll get you.
Yeah. Plus, I think with the mule deer hunt we're going on at Lake Tawakoni, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it really will.
Are you gonna go?
Yeah.
All right, good.
We got to
Start
nail
getting
down.
your shit together.
We got to figure out a date we're going to go.
Talking gear.
Yeah, I got it all.
What do
You
need?
got tripods
I
and
mean, gear.
vinyl harnesses.
Yeah,
and-
man, everything's cool.
He's got a tripod.
Yeah, I am a tripod.
You're so weird.
I just got a new tripod for New Zealand, and I got on Slick's website. You know, Slick's what they sell on
Yeah.
Go Hunt and stuff.
Yep.
Like that's what everybody likes. I got on Slick's website. And they had a refurbished one for $90 off. So I bought like a scratch and dent model. It's badass. I couldn't even find a scratch or a dent on it.
Because I found one on Amazon that's a high-end camera tripod for $100 and change. It's got a 33-pound capacity. So I plan to mount a base plate on my rifle and shoot off the tripod too.
Nice.
Like glass and then shoot. Because if you shoot on a tripod, like if you miss, like it's your fucking fault. Like period. Like
Yeah.
that's my plan for mule deer.
Yeah.
Well, I've been looking at. I found Magpul makes that badass adapter for the camera mount. It
Yeah.
actually goes in the actual camera mount for
Exactly.
a tripod.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a 6-7 pound tripod, and it's 33-pound capacity, so it's beefy. Because I was looking at Vortex High Country and stuff, and they're solid tripods, and they're light and pretty cheap, but like capacity is like 6 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's like 7 or 8 pounds. It's not a whole lot. I just got it for binos and camera
Yeah.
and stuff. But
See, I'm just thinking, like, because even like some of this property we have access to around here, I want a predator hunt, so I can dual use this thing.
yeah.
You know, maybe a little bit heavier to hike in for these hunts, but I can shoot off of it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that's going to be Maybe I'm overthinking this.
Always.
I mean,
But it's only
Always.
$100. Like if I use it for a couple of years and say this tripod sucks, like I'm out $100.
Yeah.
you'll use the tripod for shit.
Something,
you know?
yeah,
I mean,
something.
Like you said, I mean, if it's got a 33-pound capacity, I mean, you're gonna. I mean, that's the thing. You're gonna be able to use it for multiple things, and
We can definitely predator hunt off of it.
yeah.
Well, guys, that's about all the info I have for All Out West.
Man,
We
I tell you.
appreciate it. That's a lot of info. I took notes.
Yeah, you were over there writing notes down.
I did.
Yeah. Uh-oh, dogfight.
I'm not an expert by any means, but I
You know more
have,
than we do.
I have been messing with this for 6 years now, and I kind of have a pretty good grasp of it. So, if anyone has any specific questions, they can just send me a message or something.
Absolutely.
I'll throw out another question just because I want to keep it going, which is just, okay, so no one, like, we all talk about the if I could go back to 22 or 21 years old and know what I know now type deal, right? Knowing what you know now, if this is your first year to elk hunt, where would you go?
This was my first year today, right now.
You just wanted it, like, this is your first year, and knowing what you know now, all the things you've done, all the experiences you have, you wanted to go elk hunt, where would you go?
Number one, I'm putting in for a New Mexico tag.
Okay.
If I don't draw that tag, if my financials allow it, I would try to find a landowner tag.
Okay.
That's all going to be dependent on if you
put
can
all your
afford a
chips in New
landowner
Mexico.
tag, or whatever. If not, I would probably still go to Colorado,
Okay.
just due to the fact that it's a day closer drive than Idaho.
Yeah.
You're getting to hunt an extra 2 days,
Yeah.
basically. I would just do a lot more research, maybe go up there once during the summer. Kind of at least have a plan on where I was going to go in. There's still lots of big elk killed in Colorado, so I can't just write it off. I mean, it's still really good over-the-counter hunting.
I mean, like you said, it's everybody. You never know what happens.
My opinion, probably shouldn't even say this, but you got to get away from that southeast corner.
Yeah.
The Alamosa area, the 80, 81, those
That's
areas.
where everybody's going to go.
That's where everybody from Texas goes.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've hunted it twice, and
Yeah.
it's just, I've seen a couple of elk. It's jam-packed with people. It's just, I just think that I would go a little deeper into Colorado.
Drive further.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
I know.
Go to Montana.
Can't go to Montana over the counter.
Figure it out.
I think you can draw it with
figure it
no
out.
points. I think it's pretty. I think Montana last year was
Cameron
like.
was saying you could draw with no points.
Yeah, I think in the last couple of years was the first time they ever sold out of the deer and elk combos. Like, so you could definitely go to Montana, but yeah, I think I'd still go Colorado if I couldn't go New Mexico.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you letting us be on the Hook and Arrow podcast.
We're both gonna post it. It's both our
Oh, yeah,
podcasts.
but you're by far the bigger celebrity than we are.
Oh yeah,
Somebody
such a
recognized you.
celebrity.
Somebody was like, "Holy shit! It's the Hook and Arrow podcast, and it's 3 retarded friends."
Oh, yeah. I don't do enough podcasts here lately to be recognized by anybody.
You got recognized.
I'm gonna do it again though. I'll do it again. So, but I enjoyed it, guys. I think we're gonna have another
Absolutely.
beer.
At least
Absolutely.
one.
Maybe we'll record another one of these, possibly.
I'll take
Maybe.
another one.
Well,
Yeah.
of course.
Our offshoot.
Why not?
Well, thanks for listening, guys. If you were listening to this,
What else? What house cleaning do we
house
have?
cleaning do we have? So if you're listening to this, it's roughly March 22nd. If you downloaded this and are listening to it the day it came out, then stop what you're doing and go buy a ticket to the Texas Fly Fishing Festival and come hang out with us at
it's
the BHA
tomorrow.
booth because it's tomorrow. Exactly. If not,
That's math, Jordan.
I just ignored it.
if not,
That's witchcraft.
exactly. Thank you. If not, well then, get ready for the next one that's coming up in a year. But other than that, I'm sure there's some Texas BHA Pint Night that's going on in your town. Join us on the Texas BHA page, and you can watch us all have fun, talk shit to each other.
Go follow Stormwater Creek on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm Hook and Arrow.
Yeah, go follow that dude.
Yeah. follow
Send me
that
a
dude.
message if you have any questions on
He
drawing.
every now and then does stuff.
Exactly. We take pictures of things. He actually goes and does things.
Yeah.
You know, so
There's differences.
It's true.
I scramble around the house like, I'm cooking something. Bam.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm not gonna say any units if you send me a message.
Lake Tawakoni.
But if you have any general questions, I will share my info.
Exactly. Go to Lake Tawakoni, hang a left, and hit Duck Cove unit.
Wow.
Huge shout out to Texas BHA. We've done a lot of work over the last couple weeks. We've had some big advancements. One of us is now a board member, or I guess two of us are a board member.
Yeah.
All right, y'all close this up. I'm going to pee.
Okay.
Peace out, homie.
So, congratulations,
Thanks, buddy.
Mr. Brown. You're on the board.
I am.
Oh,
Congratulations to
Grinchy
Colin
Boom.
Nelson.
I'll serve our
Yeah?
country well, the state well.
Colin Nelson is the
Country,
new
that
secretary.
works.
And Joel Smith is public outreach. So
Yep.
Congrats, boys. It's
Yeah.
been a couple weeks now.
Bunch of new
but
faces. Be
Exactly.
good. 2019 is going to be prosperous.
It's great. We doubled our membership last year, and we should continue that effort moving forward. So,
Hell yeah.
all right, guys. I'm pretty sure that's it. Thanks for listening. Make sure you go and review the podcast and give us a rating. Hopefully, it's 4 stars. But if it's not, make it 4 stars.
What else?
See how that-
Subscribe. We said that?
Yeah.
Subscribe to us.
Subscribe. Like, that's a big deal.
Follow everything. Wait a minute. Follow
Watch-
us.
Watch our Instagram at Stormwater Creek. Go check out our website. It's a brand new website.
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah. Someone's
It's
been
got
working
fancy,
hard.
fancy
Yeah.
things.
Abraham.
You may be listening to this podcast via the website, which we appreciate.
You do.
And if
Finally.
you want one of our handy, dandy new Mora knives that you've seen us post on social media, or you see us cutting up
Yeah.
animals with,
We've got a handful of pre-orders, but these things we do, they're real small batch. I mean, they're done. We get the knives in. They're done locally in DFW. So we have to run them in certain numbers, like good numbers, a dozen at a time. We've got 2 or 3 guys wanting them. If you want one, let us know. We'll probably have you put down a small deposit just to save your spot. But we're happy to run more of these. They're solid.
they're badass.
I was stripping wires on a feeder yesterday. Like we did work at the farm. Like they're just awesome to have around. And I've gotten into the fixed blade aspect with the orange handle because I've lost a couple knives lately because they disappear.
Yeah, but
these giant orange handles aren't going to disappear. No, I lost my Benchmade officially 100% gone yesterday.
Again?
At the farm.
Yeah, it's gone.
Gone. So the orange handles are great. You're going to find it. They're high carbon. They're going to hold an edge. Like I said, we get nothing from Mora. We just think they're badass.
They're great knives.
If you want one, let us know. We'll get some done. But
We
we
stayed
need
up late patina in our knives
Yeah.
last night. Jordan wins patina of the year.
Not yet. I'm not done.
I know.
But-
I got to put a good gun oil on mine too. So
But what else?
I'm
I think
awesome.
that's it.
You are awesome.
Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Adios, guys.
Hey, y'all be good.
See you guys.